There is a moment in your life when you begin to feel that luck, money, and even miracles don't move randomly. They respond, they shift, they bend towards certain people as if pulled by an invisible current. And I want to start by telling you something unsettling, something most people never learn. None of this is accidental. According to ancient Jewish law, the unseen world listens to you long before the visible world reacts. Your words, your intentions, your declarations, they are not reflections of your reality. They are the architects of it. The millionaire rabbi who revealed these teachings to me once said, "People try to change their finances by changing their actions, but actions come last. Words come first." At the time, it sounded poetic. Later, I understood it was literal. In Jewish mysticism, speech is not expression, it is activation. Every sentence you speak becomes an instruction issued to the spiritual machinery that surrounds your life. Wealth, luck, and divine intervention do not begin in your bank account or in your circumstances. They begin in your mouth. Before we go deeper, I want you to do something simple but important. In the comments, write the phrase you most often say about money or luck. Maybe it's, "I'm unlucky," or "money slips through my fingers," or "I just hope for the best," or "I never win anything." It doesn't matter what it is, write it. Here's why. When you write something down, you freeze it long enough to see the belief behind it. And beliefs, once exposed, can be rewritten. This small act is your first step in taking control of the forces that shape your destiny. Because the truth is this: the words you speak create patterns in your energy. These patterns influence how opportunities notice you, how money approaches you, and how events align around you. Jewish law teaches that the spiritual world is not neutral. It reacts to intention the way a seed reacts to soil. Each word is a seed. Some grow into blessing, others grow into blockage, and most people, without knowing, are planting weeds while praying for fruit. The rabbi who mastered these laws did not rise through luck or strategy alone. He rose because he learned the hidden rules that govern flow. He understood that before abundance appears physically, it must be permitted spiritually, and that permission is granted through speech. You may not feel wealthy, you may not feel lucky, you may not feel close to a miracle, but the spiritual laws do not care how you feel. They care how you speak. Feelings whisper, words command. As we move forward, I will show you the ancient blueprint behind these laws, the framework that explains why some people attract fortune with ease while others chase it endlessly. More importantly, I will reveal 3 verbal mistakes that instantly cancel wealth, luck, and miracles before they ever reach you. And the first of these mistakes is so common, so deceptively harmless, that most people repeat it every day without realizing it sabotages everything they're trying to build. To understand why your words can command money, luck, and even miracles, you must step into a worldview far older than modern finance, a worldview carved into the foundation of Jewish law. According to this ancient system, reality does not begin with action. Reality begins with articulation. In Hebrew, the language of creation, the word for speech and the word for thing share the same spiritual root, davar. This is not a coincidence. It is a revelation. Jewish sages believe that a word is not a description. A word is a force. A word is a blueprint. A word is the spark that shapes what later becomes visible. This idea traces all the way back to Genesis. Creation did not begin with movement. It began with sound. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The rabbis taught that this was not poetry. It was instruction. The universe itself was programmed to respond to speech. And because humans are made in the divine image, our speech, in its own smaller way, carries the same architectural power. We do not create galaxies, but we create outcomes. We create patterns. We create pathways. Not through desire, not through willpower, but through spoken intention. Kabbalistic teachings go even deeper. They explain that the world is made of layers: spiritual, emotional, mental, physical. The physical is the final layer, the last expression of everything that came before it. This means that money problems, bad luck, and blocked miracles do not begin in the physical world at all. They begin in the spiritual layer, where intention vibrates. And nothing vibrates intention more clearly than the words you speak. Speech is like the code that instructs the unseen world how to behave towards you. When you say, "I never have luck," you aren't describing a circumstance. You are issuing a spiritual command. When you say, "Money is hard," you reinforce a barrier. When you say, "Nothing ever works for me," you send out a blueprint of failure that the universe takes literally. Jewish law teaches that the world mirrors back what you declare, not what you hope, not what you fear, not what you feel, what you speak. This is why wealth responds so powerfully to aligned language. When your words match the frequency of expansion, the universe treats those words as permission. It begins moving opportunities toward you that were frozen before. It begins arranging coincidences, openings, and unexpected pathways. Luck is not random. It is the result of alignment. Miracles are not spontaneous. They are the product of spiritual congruence. But most people unknowingly sabotage this alignment every day. Not through negativity, not through laziness, but through 3 subtle verbal mistakes that block divine flow with surgical precision. These mistakes are so common that even the wisest people fall into them. They are woven into culture, politeness, humility, and habit. And the tragic part is that the universe responds to them instantly, because it cannot ignore a declaration of the tongue. Now that you understand the spiritual blueprint behind creation, we can turn to the first of these fatal verbal errors. And once you see it clearly, you will never speak the same way again. The first verbal mistake is so ordinary, so socially acceptable, so ingrained in daily conversation that most people never question it. Yet it is one of the greatest killers of wealth, luck, and divine intervention. The phrase is simple: "I'm fine." 2 soft little words, 2 seeds of spiritual stagnation, 2 invisible locks on the gates of abundance. When a person says, "I'm fine," they believe they are being humble, polite, or emotionally steady. But ancient Jewish law teaches that your words do not express your inner state. They command your outer reality. The universe does not hear "I'm fine" as modesty. It hears it as closure, as completion, as a declaration of sufficiency. And sufficiency, spiritually, is the enemy of expansion. Imagine standing beneath a waterfall with a closed container. No matter how powerful the water is, none of it enters. The container may even appear wet on the outside, but it remains empty within. This is what "I'm fine" does. It tells the spiritual world, do not send more. No increase is needed. Even if your heart longs for more. Even if your circumstances beg for change. Your words override your desire. I once met a businessman whose life illustrates this perfectly. He was hardworking, disciplined, intelligent, but chronically stuck. Every opportunity slipped through his fingers. Every stroke of luck arrived a little too late. When I asked him how he responded when people inquired about his life, he smiled and said, "I always tell them I'm fine. Better to stay humble." But humility is not the issue. Alignment is. By repeating "I'm fine," he was essentially announcing nothing more required. And the universe, faithful to the laws of creation, obeyed. Within 3 days, after he learned to stop saying those words and began using a phrase of openness instead, his circumstances shifted dramatically. A stalled negotiation reopened. A client who had disappeared returned with unexpected urgency. A new offer arrived from a connection he had forgotten existed. Why so fast? Because he stopped declaring fullness and allowed the vessel to open again. Psychology supports this spiritual truth. When you say, "I'm fine," your mind shifts into maintenance mode. It stops searching for opportunities. It stops scanning for ideas. It stops preparing for growth. It becomes passive. The brain interprets "I'm fine" as no action needed. and so your inner navigation system powers down. But the universe does not reward stagnation. Luck does not bloom in stillness. Wealth does not thrive in emotional neutrality. Miracles do not enter closed doors. This is why the phrase is so destructive. It numbs your destiny. It quiets your hunger. It lulls your spirit into dormancy while life continues moving without you. But the first verbal mistake is only the beginning. There is a second one, far more deceptive, far more seductive. This next error doesn't close the vessel. It tricks you into letting go of it entirely, leaving your blessings to spill before you can catch them. There is an ancient law in the Talmud that explains with razor-sharp precision why the phrase "I'm fine" is so spiritually catastrophic. It says, "The one who declares fullness shall not receive." At first glance, it sounds poetic, like a proverb meant to inspire reflection. But this is not poetry. It is a literal description of how the spiritual world responds to your words. In Jewish thought, blessings do not flow randomly. They flow into space. And space is created not by desire alone, but by honest acknowledgement of need. When you declare that you are fine, you eliminate the very space abundance requires to enter. Picture a cup filled to the brim. Clear water cascades over it, but nothing new enters. It looks abundant from the outside, but inside it is stagnant. Spiritually, "I'm fine" is the verbal equivalent of that full cup. It signals closure. It tells the divine flow that the vessel cannot receive. Even if you secretly crave change, even if your life is crackling with unmet potential, the gates remain sealed because your words have shut them. The Talmudic sages warned relentlessly against false fullness. They considered it more dangerous than lack itself. Why? Because lack creates openness. It invites growth. It calls for divine partnership. But false fullness, pretending everything is okay, creates spiritual paralysis. A person cannot rise when they insist they are already standing tall. Modern psychology mirrors this truth. When you say, "I'm fine," your brain interprets it as an instruction to halt all forward movement. The mind is wired for efficiency. If it believes no improvement is needed, it stops searching for solutions, stops scanning for opportunity, stops generating creative ideas. The inner engine powers down. You end growth without realizing you've pressed the switch. And yet so many people cling to "I'm fine" as a shield. They fear vulnerability. They fear judgment. They fear appearing needy. But Jewish wisdom teaches that pretending you need nothing is not strength, it is self-imposed limitation. Strength is honesty. Strength is declaring the truth your soul whispers. I am ready for more. Let me offer you a simple metaphor. Imagine your life as a room with a heavy curtain drawn across its doorway. Behind the curtain are the blessings waiting for you. Opportunities, financial expansion, unexpected allies, breakthroughs you keep praying for. Each time you speak with honesty, each time you say, "I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm moving forward," the curtain lifts slightly. Light enters, the doorway opens. But each time you say, "I'm fine," the curtain falls again. The blessing is still there, but unreachable. This is why I want you to reflect for a moment. Where in your life have you been saying, "I'm fine"? Your finances, your confidence, your career, your sense of direction, your self-worth? The places where you pretend to be stable are the very places where abundance has stopped flowing. And once you recognize this, you create the first crack in the wall blocking your destiny. Yet the first error, harmful as it is not the most dangerous. There is a second mistake, far more seductive, far more disguised, that quietly drains your momentum long before your miracle arrives. The second hidden mistake is more subtle than the first because it does not pretend everything is fine. Instead, it whispers something far more dangerous. I've already won. It appears at the exact moment when progress finally begins to show. When the first opportunity arrives, when a little money starts flowing, when a streak of good luck surfaces. It is the era of lowering your guard too early, relaxing the moment you see the first sign of improvement. And nothing suffocates divine momentum faster. You know this feeling. You fight, you struggle, you push for months or years. Then finally, something shifts. A raise, a lucky break, a small miracle. For a moment, you feel the weight lifting from your shoulders. Relief washes in. But if you're not careful, relief becomes complacency. Complacency becomes stagnation. And stagnation becomes the silent collapse of everything you just began to build. My grandfather had a saying that made people laugh, but it carried a truth sharp as a blade. A sleeping crocodile becomes a handbag. Beneath the humor was a warning. If you stop moving, life repurposes you. Even blessings turn brittle when you stand still. The spiritual world rewards motion, not pause. When you relax your intention prematurely, you break the flow you worked so hard to activate. In psychology, this phenomenon is known as false finish. When the brain believes the goal is already secured, it reduces effort by as much as 50%. Focus drifts. Hunger fades. The senses dull. The inner fire weakens. You tell yourself it's just a short break, but spiritually, the break signals something far more serious. It tells the universe you no longer need the blessing to continue expanding. Jewish law teaches that divine flow follows momentum. Blessing is like water. It nourishes what is growing. The moment growth stops, the water moves elsewhere. The millionaire rabbi once told me, most people lose their miracle not because it was denied, but because they stopped walking toward it. That is the danger of the second error. You unconsciously step back from your own rising. I once knew a man who worked tirelessly to rebuild his life after years of financial struggle. He studied, he networked, he disciplined every habit. Eventually, he secured a position that doubled his income. And with that success, he relaxed his ambition. He believed the battle was over. Within a year, the company downsized, and he was unprepared, outdated, and unsure of what to do next. Had he continued growing, he would have been 10 steps ahead. Instead, he found himself starting over. This error does not feel like a mistake. It feels like relief. It feels like a reward. But Jewish wisdom warns that relief without continued movement destroys more destiny than failure ever will. Progress is sacred. The soul is designed for ascent. The moment you stop climbing, you are not suspended. You begin sliding down. And yet, even this is not the most dangerous mistake. There is a third one, gentler, quieter, wrapped in positivity that shrinks a person's fate without them ever realizing it is happening. The third mistake is the most insidious of all because it hides behind a smile. It masks itself as optimism, composure, emotional maturity. It sounds harmless, even healthy, and yet it is the quietest destroyer of destiny. The mistake is this subtle declaration, everything is okay. Not said once in reassurance, but repeated as a lifestyle, a default response, a shield against admitting you want more. This gentle lie shrinks your world in silence. In ancient Jewish wisdom, creation is never static. The universe is built on movement, expansion, unfolding. Every soul is designed for ascent, not neutrality. So when you say everything is okay, you are not expressing peace. You are declaring a false equilibrium. You are telling the spiritual world, do not grow me, do not challenge me, do not push me. I am complete where I am. But no human is complete. Completion is divine, not human. And the moment you declare it, you step out of alignment with the very force that animates your destiny. There was a study performed in Israel that revealed something astonishing. Individuals who regularly use neutral or emotionally flat phrases about their circumstances, such as, it's okay, I'm managing, or things are fine, experienced an average 12% decrease in long-term financial growth compared to those who expressed desire, ambition, or movement. 12% may seem small, but over years, it becomes the difference between stagnation and transformation. Language became the dividing line, but the real danger is psychological. When you tell yourself everything is okay, your brain turns off its forward-seeking functions. You stop scanning for new opportunities. You stop listening for intuitive nudges. You stop pushing, stretching, questioning, dreaming. You drift into emotional sedation. The lie lulls you to sleep while your destiny waits at the door, unable to enter. I once worked with a woman who lived inside this lie for years. Every time someone asked, she said, "Everything's okay." But everything was not okay. She was exhausted, underpaid, unvalued, and spiritually suffocating. She used the phrase not because she believed it, but because it felt safer than wanting more. Wanting more made her feel exposed, vulnerable, greedy. So she shrank her own desires for the comfort of certainty. But certainty without growth is a slow death. The breakthrough came the day she finally whispered, "No, things are not okay. I want better." Her voice cracked, but something inside her opened. Within weeks, opportunities she had ignored for years suddenly caught her attention. A job posting, a conversation, a mentor, a path. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. The moment she stopped lying to herself, space returned, and blessing always fills space. This is the essence of the third mistake. The lie of okay collapses the future. It steals the space where miracles are meant to land. But here is the hope. Just as language can shrink your world, it can also expand it. There is a phrase, 3 words so precise, so potent, so aligned with ancient spiritual law that it reverses all 3 mistakes instantly and begins rewriting your destiny the moment you speak it. After confronting the 3 hidden mistakes, a realization begins to rise quietly within you. If certain words can close doors, other words can open them. If language can suffocate destiny, it can also resurrect it. And this is where ancient Jewish law becomes breathtakingly powerful, because it does not leave you with warnings alone. It offers a remedy, a countercode, a verbal key capable of unlocking wealth, luck, and miracles with astonishing precision. The Millionaire Rabbi called it the activation phrase. It contains just 3 words. Thank God I'm growing. These 3 words dismantle every blockage created by the earlier mistakes. They restore movement. They restore openness. They restore alignment. But to understand why the phrase works, you must understand the laws it activates. Thank God. This is not about religion. It is about orientation. Gratitude is the spiritual frequency of receptivity. When you begin with thanksgiving, however small, however quiet, you shift out of scarcity. You rise out of fear. You break the illusion of stagnation. Gratitude signals to the universe, I recognize the blessing already here, send more. In Jewish law, gratitude is considered a vessel maker. It expands your capacity to receive. This tiny declaration anchors you in the present moment, the only place where creation can occur. Regret belongs to the past, anxiety belongs to the future, but growth, blessing, and alignment can only enter through presence. When you say, you step into conscious participation with your destiny. You are no longer a spectator, you are a co-creator. Growing. This is the heartbeat of the phrase. Growth is movement, expansion, continuation. It is the antidote to I'm fine, the correction to I've already won, the exposure of the lie in everything is okay. Growth is the natural state of the soul. When you declare it, you align yourself with divine flow. You tell the universe, keep sending, keep shaping me, keep expanding my world. Growth is the proof that your vessel is open. When spoken together, these 3 words reshape your inner landscape. They pull your attention upward, not inward. They revive the mind's hunger for improvement. They reawaken intuition. They lift the emotional frequency needed for opportunity to recognize you. Spiritually, they send a signal to the unseen world. This person is still in motion. Keep blessing them. But understanding the formula is only the beginning. To activate it, you must ritualize it. Set an alarm each morning or choose a quiet moment you can claim as your own. When it arrives, breathe and speak the phrase aloud. Thank God I'm growing. Speak it when you feel strong. Speak it when you feel lost. Speak it especially when you feel nothing at all. Words create feeling, not the other way around. As you repeat the phrase, something subtle begins to shift. First in your emotions, then in your decisions, then in the coincidences that start appearing around you. You become the kind of person the universe can bless, the kind of person luck notices, the kind of person miracles can land on without sliding off. And soon, you will see what happens when this formula touches real lives, how ordinary people start attracting extraordinary outcomes. I want you to see how these laws operate not as theory, but as transformation, living, breathing, undeniable. Let me tell you the story of a man named Daniel, someone who once stood at the edge of financial collapse and spiritual exhaustion. He wasn't reckless or lazy. He was disciplined, responsible, and endlessly hopeful. But hope without alignment is a fragile thing. Every step forward was followed by 2 steps back. Every opportunity slipped away. Every bit of luck arrived too late to matter. He lived inside a cycle that felt cursed. When I met him, his entire vocabulary was built around survival. I'm coping. I'm hanging on. I hope things turn. But the most common phrase he used, the one he repeated almost unconsciously, was, "It's okay. It is what it is." He said it with a tired smile, believing acceptance was strength. Yet acceptance without aspiration becomes resignation, and resignation is the enemy of destiny. When I explained the 3 verbal mistakes to him, he listened politely but skeptically, like a man who has tried every solution and is afraid to believe one might finally work. Still, he agreed to one experiment. For 7 days, he would stop saying, "It is what it is," and replace it with the activation phrase, "Thank God I'm growing." Just 7 days. The first time he said it, something surprising happened. His voice wavered, not with emotion, but with unfamiliarity, like someone speaking a language he didn't know he could understand. But as the days passed, the phrase began to settle into him. His posture changed, his tone changed, his mind sharpened. He started noticing possibilities he would have dismissed before. The phrase had become a lens, and through it, his world shifted. In the second week, something unexpected occurred. A former colleague reached out with a freelance opportunity that perfectly matched Daniel's skills, something he would have overlooked entirely 6 months earlier. He accepted it. 2 weeks later, the small project led to a long-term contract, then another, then an introduction to someone searching for exactly the expertise Daniel had been hiding behind his old words. 3 months after adopting the phrase, Daniel moved from survival to stability. 6 months later, from stability to momentum. A year later, he looked back and said something I will never forget. It wasn't luck, it was language. My world didn't change until I did. This is the power of aligned speech. It turns scattered chances into structured opportunity. It turns random luck into recognizable pathways. It turns passive acceptance into conscious creation. And Daniel's story is not unique. Anyone who realigns their words, their energy, and their intention begins to attract what once avoided them. Because Jewish wisdom has insisted for centuries, miracles are not mysterious. They are patterned, predictable, activated. Now that you've seen what happens when these truths are applied in real life, it is time to step into the heart of the philosophy, the ancient framework that explains why your words, more than anything else, determine the destiny you experience. When you understand that stories like Daniel's are not exceptions but manifestations of a deeper spiritual architecture, something inside you shifts. You begin to realize that the ancient rabbis were not giving metaphors nor offering comforting ideas. They were describing the mechanics of reality itself. Jewish wisdom teaches that prosperity, luck, and miracles do not descend randomly from the heavens. They rise from alignment between intention, speech, and action. This is the core of the Jewish philosophy of influence. Your life expands or contracts according to the words you consistently release into the world. The first pillar of this philosophy is creation through speech. In Genesis, the universe itself unfolds through language. God said, and there was. The sages taught that this pattern was not exclusive to the divine. It was a blueprint for humanity. When you speak, you are not commenting on your life. You are shaping it. Every sentence becomes a seed. Every declaration becomes a map. The spiritual world responds not to what you feel, but to what you articulate. This is why neutral or stagnant phrases suffocate destiny, and why growth-oriented language opens paths. The second pillar is the sacredness of choice. Hebrew tradition places intense spiritual weight on Bechira, the power of choosing. Not choosing between good and evil, but choosing between contraction and expansion, stagnation and movement. When you choose words that reflect limitation, I can't, I'm stuck, nothing ever works, the universe matches that contraction. When you choose words that reflect growth, I'm learning, I'm rising, I'm growing, the universe stretches with you. Destiny is not fixed, it is responsive, and your voice is what it responds to. The third pillar is alignment, the heart of Kabbalistic teaching. Blessings flow through channels. These channels open only when your inner world, your spoken intention, and your external actions point in the same direction. If your soul longs for abundance but your words declare neutrality, the channel fractures. If your mind believes in growth but your speech repeats stagnation, blessing cannot land. But when your words match your desire and your desire matches your willingness to act, alignment forms. And through alignment, miracles become natural. This is why I now invite you into a 7-day practice, not as superstition, not as ritual, but as spiritual experiment. For 7 days, refuse to speak stagnation. Replace every neutral phrase with one of movement. Morning and night, speak the activation phrase. Thank God, I'm growing. Let these 7 days become the evidence your mind needs to understand the power of aligned speech. Watch for the small shifts, the intuitive nudges, the sudden clarity, the opportunities hiding in plain sight. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Because once you step into alignment, something extraordinary happens. Life stops resisting you. Doors stop staying closed. The world stops feeling indifferent. You begin to sense that you are not walking alone. You are walking with a current that moves you forward. The ancient rabbis called this current hashgacha, divine guidance. And once you feel it, even softly, you realize that destiny is not something you wait for. It is something you speak into motion. And now, as we complete this journey, it is time to seal everything you've learned with a blessing capable of anchoring these truths into your life. As we reach the final chapter, I want you to feel the enormity of what you now hold. You have walked through the hidden architecture of spiritual law, uncovered the 3 silent mistakes that restrict wealth and luck, awakened the activation phrase that reopens your destiny, and witnessed how ordinary lives transform when language aligns with divine flow. But all of this leads to one central truth. Your words are the steering wheel of your life. They guide your fortune, your opportunities, your alignment, and the miracles assigned to your path. You are no longer a passive recipient of fate. You are a participant in creation. Let us gather the essence. Never again say, I'm fine. That phrase closes the vessel. Never again say, I've already won. That phrase weakens your momentum. Never again say, everything is okay. That phrase sedates your destiny. These are seeds of stillness, and nothing divine grows in stillness. Instead, anchor your life in the phrase that carries spiritual precision and ancient authority. Thank God I'm growing. This is not a slogan. It is a contract, a vow between your soul and the universe. Every time you speak it, you reopen the vessel. Every time you declare it, you stretch your inner world. Every time you whisper it, you signal heaven and earth that you are still moving, that you are still becoming. This phrase is a doorway, a compass, a spiritual alignment tool. And if you commit to it with sincerity, it will rewire your thoughts, redirect your perception, and reshape the path beneath your feet. Growth is not an event, it is a direction. And once you choose that direction consciously, the universe organizes itself to support your ascent. But before we close, I want to place something ancient and sacred over your journey. A blessing recited for thousands of years, carried through exile, whispered in moments of fear, and spoken in moments of hope. It has protected families, guided wandering souls, and opened roads where there were none. Now let it rest upon you. May the Lord bless you and guard you. May the Lord shine his light upon you and show you grace. May the Lord lift his countenance towards you and grant you peace. Feel these words settling over your life like a shield of clarity, strength, and divine favor. Let them anchor you as you step into a future where your speech carries intention, your intention carries momentum, and your momentum carries blessing. Now, I ask for one final act, not for me, but for the world you are connected to. Share these teachings with 3 people who need them. Someone drowning quietly in limitation. Someone living inside the lie of fine. Someone who has forgotten how to dream because life made them shrink. You may not know how deeply they need this message, but the universe does. And giving is a spiritual law just as powerful as speaking. You are now a bearer of ancient wisdom, a carrier of alignment, someone who can whisper a phrase that shifts reality. So step forward with intention, walk with clarity, and let the truth echo inside you every day. Thank God I'm growing.